Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? I miss you guys. Been a long time since we've been on the channel. My name is Alex once again. You're watching The Connection. And across from me today, I have the super talented, the one and only, the from the 60s.
I'm from the 60s?
Or 60s or 70s.
Oh, yes, yeah.
She's
yeah.
an old soul, young mind.
I traveled in time, actually, so I'm here.
I got my sister, Cynthia, right across from us today as our guest.
Hello.
You're tuned in to the Connection Podcast, connecting you to successful entrepreneurs and marketing experts that provide informational and motivational success stories in the world of digital marketing.
I did travel from the 60s and 60s, 70s, late 60s, early 70s, Vietnam. I made a movie back there, and now I'm here to promote it.
Nice.
So go back and watch on Lifetime or
We'll go check.
AMC reruns.
We'll go check you out. Yeah, I know. Every time we get in your car,
Your TV land.
every time we get in Cynthia's car, she's definitely got like Sinatra or something on, like just totally her classical and or Disney
Yeah,
and or
course,
Disney
course.
and
Hamilton.
Hamilton. Hamilton's a recent one.
Did you enjoy it?
Uh,
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Did you watch the live one?
No.
No, me neither.
I think. Well, I watched the movie, like the one that came out on Disney Plus, because that came out because I got Disney Plus for that. But I didn't get to watch like the actual like live show because that was like really hard to get at the time. Because it was like only in New York, and that was like a huge thing, and they were doing like lottery tickets where it was like you had to wait in line forever if you even wanted to like get into the lottery, and they were just like super expensive. And then it came to like San Francisco, and it like toured to LA, and I was like, I don't have money. I don't have. I would love to, but
You've been to New York Broadway, have you?
yeah.
Yeah. What did you watch when you went?
Um,
And what was it like?
I went 2 years in a row, and we did this thing for school, where we just went exclusively for Broadway stuff, basically. So it was like a lot of us were like interested in that kind of field, and I did want to go into like doing Broadway stuff, but I was like, I don't really sing, dance, or act like professionally. So I'm like, directing would be kind of cool. So that's kind of how I went into directing. But in New York, we watched. I watched Phantom of the Opera, which was like a favorite of mine. We watched a lot. It was, like, a lot of like older ones and the newer ones. I watched Lion King one year.
Nice.
Watched.
I wanted to go see that Lion King one, but
It's
missed the
cool.
boat. They had it in San Francisco as well.
Yeah, it was cool. Matilda, that was a good one. That was actually really cool. Yeah,
Nice.
we watched a lot. I don't remember. It's
Before
been a while.
Before we dive further into Cynthia's life here, because that's why you're my guest on the show,
Yeah.
because I'm super intrigued with Cynthia's life and her direction of where she's going in the film world. One day she's going to be huge star. Got my phone vibrating in the back of my pocket here. But to my right, before guests, for those, cut this and re-edit. For my guests that
Do you ever have a dream that you just
Have you ever had a dream that you do?
All right, here we go again.
do it?
To my right, we got the one, the only, the mover himself, Jay Wiggles.
What's up, y'all?
Wiggling.
Just wiggling. Wiggling my way through COVID.
Yeah.
And switching our show, as always, the super talented as well, Alejandro.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up?
What was my line? My line used to be, "Hey, America."
Hey, America.
But now
We haven't done this in so long, so,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Gosh, it's this is like a whole new thing. This is a new experience for me once again, having to start over. But we ain't going to talk about starting over because we're just going, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Javon, you mentioned COVID, and Cynthia, you're back here in town probably
Yeah.
because of COVID.
Yeah.
And we haven't stopped since COVID, huh? Every day I've been scared like we're gonna stop or something's gonna happen, or we're paying attention to the news, but knock on wood, we're fortunate. We've been considered essential, and we've got and business must go on, and people got to get their message out there. So we've been busier than ever, huh?
Yes. Long story short, yeah. We were working remotely for quite a while, for maybe like about 1 or
Looks like
2
2
months,
months,
2
yeah.
months. But it's really good to be back in the office. I feel like, being in the workplace, you get like more of that workflow as opposed to being at home sometimes, especially now you have to find that like motivation to like keep going, especially when you're just stuck at home, like doing the same thing day after day. It gets a little depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you
But it's
imagine?
good to see everybody.
Could you imagine, like, this is we don't want to say the new normal, whatever, but this is the future for many businesses and for
Mhm.
many employees in this tech space, especially
Mhm.
in the marketing space like us. I heard a report the other day that KB Homes, the home builder, they're actually going to start building their homes with a home office in mind for COVID, like
Interesting.
because
Yeah.
of COVID, home offices will be the number one key like room upgrade.
Oh shoot.
For-
That's interesting. Yeah, and I've been actually
That's
seeing people like making people with kids actually making like specific like rooms for their children to have their own like little classroom or like their little like
Oh,
student
yeah.
space. So it's like like you said, you don't want it to be the new normal, but it's becoming like a thing. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just like always be sitting on your bed like attending school. You
Right.
know, you want to have
Yeah.
to create an environment.
it's here
No,
to
for
stay.
sure.
Yeah,
It's here to stay,
Yeah.
right? It's
Mhm.
here to stay, and every every place of work, and just from school to jobs, we're all gonna have to figure out this new way of living.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Sure.
another report is this could stay for 18 more months plus.
Oh God.
You know.
Yeah.
Good news though. Good news. This is some positive news. I was vaguely reading about a report in New York. They're opening all the schools though.
Okay.
Mm.
So that's positive news.
Yeah.
Or at least we're moving forward. So has COVID hurt or helped the marketing space? I mean, the digital marketing space.
Me personally, I just think it does nothing but good for digital marketing, because for one, like, you don't have as many people out and about like for traditional marketing, like on billboards or like posters. Like, you're not gonna have that much like traffic unless it's like your everyone in your community is like up and like essential or whatnot. But I think for at least for the first couple months, like I did notice that a lot of people were indoors, and everyone's online. Everyone's gonna be either like on a tablet, phone, computer. People are working remotely. People are gonna like either like, I don't know, like get distracted when they're working, and they're gonna click somewhere, click on an ad, click on something. Like, I think, especially, I know it's a thing because even my mom said it's something about digital marketing. She never like she can't even remember my major sometimes, my college major, and like what it is that I do. And then one day she came up to me during quarantine, when we were still working remotely, and she was like, "Oh, like, I heard digital marketing's like a big thing right now," and I was like, "Yes, mom." Like, yes, mom.
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow," like she actually kind of like, it piqued her interest, and that's interesting because she's not really in the marketing space. She's a nurse,
Right.
so for her
Yeah.
to kind of tell me like, "Oh, digital marketing's like the way to go right now,"
Yeah.
I'm like, "This is good. This sounds good to
Yeah.
me,"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The amount of viewerships on like YouTube is exploding. The amount of
Mhm.
viewers just video, but all digital is
Mhm.
exploding. Digital ads. Businesses now are trying to figure out how to get ads out there because they know that print is gone. Nobody's going to pick up a newspaper anymore.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's
That comes with a risk
extinct.
We
now.
knew it was it comes with a risk. We
Yeah.
knew it was coming. We knew print was dead.
Yeah.
And that type of marketing. But this kind of puts the nail in the coffin, huh?
For now,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Like, it definitely makes you rethink like our what do you call it? Like, our practices, when it comes to marketing, because like sometimes what's worked in the past, we kind of stick to it. Oh, this works, so let's do it. But now that things are changing super fast, it's like, okay, now everyone's kind of scrambling to figure out what does work. And right now, digital marketing is looking like it's what's working for everybody.
For sure.
Mm.
And Zoom meetings, huh?
Yeah.
Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Yes, if I get a call every week about a Zoom meeting,
Yeah. Isn't it
go
it
ahead.
funny that Zoom became like the verb? Like,
yeah.
I mean, we use Google Meets, and
Mhm.
I personally like Google Meets better because it just kind of works better than Zoom. And Zoom, like, you have to pay after an hour or something like that if
Mhm.
you have like a large group. And so it's like I don't even use Zoom, and it's Zoom. I'm
Yeah.
gonna Zoom someone. It's like
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
not
know,
even.
just
I'm not
interesting.
gonna say, oh, I'm gonna go webcams with someone. Oh, I'm gonna go Zoom. Or
Yeah.
I'm gonna, like,
Yeah.
something like that. We can do that or FaceTime. that I say.
Yeah,
Sup-
FaceTime.
Super wild because for years I've been going to, obviously everybody knows I'm a huge Sharks fan, and you go to the games and all over the boards, Zoom, Zoom, Zoom,
Yeah.
You
advertisements all around the room, around the
Yeah.
stadium, Zoom, Zoom, and you don't stop to think like, what is Zoom,
Yeah.
and obviously a lot of people knew what Zoom was. For me, obviously being in the tech space, I'm not gonna lie, I never paid attention to Zoom,
Yeah. Yeah.
until I had to pay for it,
Yeah.
but gosh, that's it's changing the way we live,
Yeah.
changing the way we meet, changing the hey, we're gonna have a meeting today, a board meeting today,
Yeah.
great, we'll be there,
Yeah.
we'll be there on Zoom.
On Zoom.
Yeah.
Like even the first couple months of quarantine, or like the first shelter in place, it was like people weren't just using Zoom to to do business meetings or conduct like school. It was friends that just wanted to hang out because that was the only way
Yeah.
they could hang out,
Yeah.
for like a longer period of time without like having to hold the phone and worry about battery and stuff.
Zoom bars, Zoom clubs.
Yeah, Club Zoom.
Club Zoom. For sure, right? And actually, as we're laughing about that exact topic, I've like been eating me up inside to do this show, to keep this going, because we've had super Zoom on steroids right here.
Yeah.
We've proven that since
Yeah.
before this time has come. And
That's
when we
true.
remember when we had Amanda and we
Mhm.
Central Coast Sign Factory, we
Mhm.
had them live, on the big screen right here.
Yeah.
Our very early mocks trial of building the connection, we
Yeah,
brought in a
testing
friend
it
of
out.
testing it out. We
Mhm.
were doing FaceTime calls right here. Like we didn't know there was gonna be a pandemic,
We
know.
didn't.
Yeah.
And we have a Zoom, we have a super Zoom, a super Google Meet, and now we've been getting our clients. In fact, we've had multiple jobs where they're coming right here, right in this seat,
Mhm.
having their Zoom call
Yeah.
on a professional level.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's pretty exciting,
Yeah.
Hopefully we can continue to keep
Yeah,
it going.
I've actually been seeing it on TV a lot more too. Zoom calls as being like
Right.
what's showing like live on the screen, like especially for because my family watches like the Filipino channel. I think every day I see just webcam like boxes or like
Right.
Zoom like
Right.
screens
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the background, and that's again like that's the new normal. And I think as we were trying to figure out like Zoom and everything from the beginning, now it's like people are trying to like one up like the production value of that, on a
Yeah.
professional level. So I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Jimmy Fallon and like all the
All
talk
at
show
home.
hosts. Jimmy Fallon started at home and was just kind of doing his little show there, and he's adopted a lot of like the vibe of it, I guess, or like the way that he's been doing it. It's very casual now. Like he's
Mhm.
back in Rockefeller Center, but it's all like very casual. He doesn't have live guests,
Yes.
but his guests have like nice cameras that they're like talking through.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm starting to see that like that one up in
They're
production value.
Upping
Mhm.
up the quality on their
Yeah.
on their Zoom calls or their Skype calls, whatever
Yeah.
whatever app they might
Just
be
to like
using.
differentiate you from like the regular person using Zoom. It's like, okay, how are we gonna
Exactly.
make our show, our product, just or just like shine outshine like
Yeah.
everything else that's out there right now.
It's crazy. On the Today Show, I seen they had guests meet with a celebrity this morning, and they just a big Zoom call on their big TV.
Yeah.
It was all types of tech. Everybody's using it. Everybody knows they have to use it, and
Yeah.
it's gonna stay for a really long time. Sorry, Alejandro, what were you saying?
Yo, what up? What'd you think about Jimmy Fallon? His new show, like
Oh,
the format. I
yeah.
watched it and I just couldn't. It just didn't have. It lost a lot of soul.
Really?
A lot of.
Well, to be honest, I've watched like YouTube clips. Like I haven't had a lot of time to like sit down and watch like his whole show, but I've watched like just like interviews and snippets and like little like stuff that he's done. It's weird. Like the whole like no audience laughter is really bizarre.
Yeah.
Like I've even seen like soccer games where they're like they put in the
cheering.
cheering, yeah, and it's like
Press a button. Just...
yeah, but I also saw I kind of like walked in the room and the TV was on and there was a game going, but there was like TV screens that were set up as the audience, and they were like audience from like around the world or from wherever that were like cheering for them. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, like the whole like audience, no audience is such a weird like vibe. I don't know.
And for me, hockey just started once again, and to see all the seats empty, everything
Yeah.
empty, and then when they score a goal, they just bump up the music, you know? like-
Yeah.
That feels a little Black Mirror to me. Just like
I
you know,
know.
like everything just like happening here in a bubble, and then everyone
Yeah.
watching from the outside. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Honestly, I feel like I've seen an episode of Black Mirror with like the TV screens, like
yeah,
in the
that's
audience.
exactly that's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Yeah, it's
It's so weird.
a little creepy.
It is. It is.
But it's interesting though, because like you get a lot of like again like a lot of high profile like people using like the Zoom chats. I think was it this past week where they had all the like the tech companies all like
In Congress.
yeah, and I think that's like it just reminds me of just like you know when you see like these like those Hollywood movies where it's like people in holograms like talking to each other having these
Yeah.
huge meetings, and I feel like I mean that's kind of what's going on like in front of us,
Yeah.
even if we might not know. It's like people are having these digital meetings.
It's like Star Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
their
know?
hologram,
Yeah.
their hologram is coming in.
Yeah,
I'm getting a
seriously.
call coming in.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
Like we're closer to that than
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 ever.
ever before.
I
yeah,
know.
and it's real.
Crazy.
It's happening. It's right in front of us.
Yeah,
It's wild.
that is wild.
Pretty wild.
Well, let's get back to Cynthia.
Oh,
Yeah, we're here today to talk a little bit with Cynthia
This is about
And-
you.
and talk about you and talk about what you've been up to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, tell us
Cynthia-
about your life. Tell us about your life.
You
Okay,
know?
when I was 5 years old. When I was 5.
Yeah, want me to tell you about Cynthia when she was 5?
No.
No.
Meh.
But when you were 15, no, I
Mhm.
mean, for 2015, not when you were 15. I hope
Yeah.
not when you were 15. But in 2015, many people don't know this. Some do, most don't. But Cynthia started working for me. And she started coming over to the house office.
Yeah.
At that point, I was in the house office. I was one-man show, editing, and Cynthia was really, you were just you were hobbying. You were just learning. You were just
No idea. I
she had-
still don't know.
she,
but-
she was learning, and I was teaching her along the way. And I mean, there came times where you just became an editor, and
Yeah.
you were putting together rough cuts, and you know, I started to trust you more and more. Obviously, right? You know, I
Mhm.
would go on a shoot, and come back, and be like, "Cool, you know, I got
Yeah.
a jump start. Now I'm gonna actually get some sleep tonight."
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about where you've gone since then.
Yeah. So yeah, we were just literally. I would come over. It was just me and you, and you're in the room that's now Zara and Elijah's.
My kids' room.
Yeah. And what have I done?
What have you
what
done?
have I
You
done?
you left me and you went to college.
Yeah. I went to MPC for a couple of years and just did just like general credits. Just didn't really know exactly where I wanted to go into. Like I said, I like theater was like a cool option, but I was like, I don't know if I want to move to New York. I don't know if that's like a scene that I want to be a part of. Kind of found my way. I realized like I really like movies, and I really like. But what I really like is the collaborative nature of filmmaking, or just like any kind of like I did theater in high school, and it was like we're all working together to make this like really amazing thing, and we're all using like our creative muscles to put something together that's like pretty cool, you know. So I was like, Mom, film has that. I should do that. So I applied to Biola University in 2016, and then I got in, and it was like the last school on my list because I was like, I went to Christian schools all my life, and I was like, well, another Christian school, like maybe I should try something different. And then it just ended up happening that I was at Biola, and I loved it. I was there for 2.5 years. And I met like my closest friends, and my whole community in LA is like all Biola people. And they're great. They're amazing. They're so I met so many talented people, and I think you're only as good as your team, really. And I learned a lot from them. So I like took a lot of the skills, that you taught me, and like a lot of people came in and they were like, I don't know how to edit, or like I've never used like Premiere. I've only used like iMovie or like Final Draft or whatever. And I came in and I was like, I know how to do this. So
Nice.
editing class was like, it was kind of easy, which is great. I had that advantage, and I was fortunate to have that. And then I was at school for a couple of years, and then I graduated in December of 2018. And I started doing. I was like, I want to be a director and writer, because everybody goes into film school like being like, yeah, I'm a director writer. I'm gonna write the next like Steven Spielberg film or whatever, and I'm gonna direct it. So kind of go in with that mentality, and then you kind of come out with a very different mentality, and you kind of see explore the different options that you have. So I fell into production design in summer of 2018, so 2 years ago. And one of my friends was directing this feature film, which a feature film in is a 90-minute film. In college is like saying I'm gonna make it. It just kind of felt like I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make the next Spielberg film. You know, it's like that big of a scope, and you don't really, because everyone makes like short films while you're in school, and you want to make short film. The idea is, the mentality that you should adopt is, you know, I want to make short films so that I can pitch it for like a feature film. So that's what a lot of people do. But we had 3 different groups who made 3 different features that summer, which is like huge. Like these are like they started with 10,000 for their budget. I think one of them has ended up like in the 200,000. Like they're still trying to fundraise money to finish the film. So we did it off of a $10,000 budget. The film I was a part of, and I was production designer for it. My friend was like, hey, like we saw you do like costumes for another short. Do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah. Like no experience, no, like I had directed a project before that ended up being 30 minutes. And that was like one of the best experiences. I absolutely loved it. And then, yeah, so I like I did this, and I was like, yeah, I can do it. Whatever. So good. It was a train wreck, but we got through it. And it was honestly like one of the most rewarding one of the most rewarding projects I've done, because I learned a lot. Sorry, I'm not eating my microphone. I'm like running away from it. It's just so like,
it's so
I want to like face you guys, but I don't want to get covered. But yeah, so that was really, that was a very rewarding experience, because I spent a month on shooting the project, but I think we were in pre-pro for like three months, something like that. Yeah.
How about that money though? $10,000.
That's for the film that we did,
right?
Yeah.
So I've heard about a lot. You know, we've talked a lot about the films that you make, and you're like, yeah, we did it all on $5,000, or we did it all on, you know. And I've turned around, and if any client tells me we want to shoot it on raw video, you know, I'm gonna say, great. It's this week it's gonna be, you know, $3,000 for a red rental, you know.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
So how does that equal out? You know, share how you're able to create these productions on a lot of times on just volunteering, right?
Well, when you're in a lot of film schools they should offer resources for you to use, and our school was really lucky to have Red cameras, which is like a standard cinema camera, and we were lucky to have those, and so our budget went from, you know, like on top of the body of the camera, you also need the lens kit, and you also need like you
need a tripod.
You need a tripod, you need monitors, you need focus pullers, you need, like, you know, there's a lot that goes with it. It's not just like picking up a DSLR and just being like, okay, that's good, you know. It's like a lot, and you got to have sound, and you got to have whatever. So because we had all of those things to available to us for free, we were able to, I mean, with your tuition dollar, but because we had those available to us, we went from, you know, having to spend $100,000 on a feature film to $10,000. And the biggest thing that we spend, and a lot of the time, you know, you have people, when you're young and you're in school, you're just kind of like doing. You don't really put a value to like the amount of hours that you have to, like, this is my daily rate. This is my, you know, it's just kind of like on a volunteer basis. So it works out that we did have those available to us, but it's very different when you're out of school. You're just like calling rental houses, like, what's the cheapest I can get on this?
Yeah. And so you've been out of school for the last few years, and tell everybody what you've been up to and what you've been working on, what you've been doing.
I directed my senior thesis. I wrote and directed it. It's basically it's a 13-minute film about this young kid who is about to enlist into the Vietnam War. I had a lot of fun making it. It was it's set here in Salinas, and it's a Salinas production, but with LA people, if that makes sense. So we shot all on location. So here this was one of those productions where it's like we asked friends of friends, and our dad, who's like just the most go-getter person that you can imagine, had a lot of like connections, and you had a lot of connections, and so it was just really like asking around, like hey, we need a house, hey, we need like a truck, we need a lettuce farm. So we did a lot of those things where it was like the impossible. We were very ambitious with it, but it was like the impossible that we were asking for. But it was really great because I was able to like come home and connect with like the community and see what kind of see how I can tell the story authentically. It's about a Salinas. I guess I didn't explain
You
that.
didn't really explain it. You kind of jumped in. She goes, I've been working on a film. So you're making a short film.
Yes.
What's the name of your movie?
Yeah, it's called Soldado Raso.
What does that mean?
So Soldado Raso is the basically like a foot soldier, because it's set in Vietnam. I don't know. Do you want me to explain? I realize I'm like not the best at explaining this, but yeah.
You
can ask me again.
That's right.
You can ask me again.
Well, you're not supposed to talk about it if it hasn't come out yet. You're supposed to just
Hint
gotta
at
keep
it.
the suspense
Ask me
open.
about it.
What was your inspiration?
Okay, so the film is set in 1969, and it's about a young boy who's going off. He's enlisting into the Vietnam War, and he's doing this to kind of prove to his father, like, I can do it. I can be man enough to do it. And so it has it threw in a lot of themes of like toxic masculinity, kind of in like the Mexican culture. There's a lot in there. I packed it, densely packed it. But it's really like a culmination of a lot of different things. So I knew when I was like trying to figure out my senior thesis, I was like, I want to make a Spielberg, I want to make like a big, no, I didn't really think that, but I was like, I do want to make a film that has to do with like, my culture, my mom's from Mexico and we're Mexican. So I was like, I feel very connected to that. I want to tell a story about that because all of my friends were they told beautiful stories, but I knew that like I had something to contribute, a very different perspective to contribute. So I was like, I really want to do that. I kind of wanted to stand out, I was kind of like exploring stories, and I was talking to family members and just kind of like seeing what I can put together. And I was talking to my uncle who was born in Mexico but grew up here in the area. He right around like the time that the draft was happening, he had gotten married and just got a job and just finished school and was like, getting ready to just kind of do his life. And suddenly he was drafted. I was talking to him about it, and I was like, this is fascinating. And he was like, yeah, and I like started noticing that, like, or I think I asked him like, oh, when did you feel like your time, like you were going to be called, like you were next? And he was like, well, I really started to feel it when like my friends started leaving. Like I started seeing less and less of my friends and like people my age, and so that I kind of latched onto that. And then I just started like, from there I just went off and I was like, I have a story,
Nice.
So yeah.
Awesome.
So.
I did get to watch the film already. You gave me a little sneak peek of it. It was about 13 minutes or so long,
Yeah.
you know. And we'll talk a little bit more about, you know, what the future direction is of it. I know you haven't done a premiere on it yet, but thank you. You brought a couple of little clips to share with us today, which we have loaded. You want to tell us a little bit about those clips before we play them?
Sure. One of them is set in a bakery or a panaderia. And that was quite an adventure to try to get. Again, like a lot of these locations were just kind of like whatever was available. I mean, not whatever was available, but like whatever we could get. So this one in particular is just the main character, Mateo, and his youngest sister, Rosie. They're going to a bakery and they're just, this is like a snippet of like, this is good times, you know. In a short film, you don't have a lot of time to develop a character a lot. But I really wanted to capture just kind of like the best of times sort of thing, or like sweet times. And then we see
Kind of feels like bonding time to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah. And he sees it during this like good time. He sees a picture of a fallen soldier placed on an altar. So because it's Dia de los Muertos, it's like set around that time. So he kind of sees him and he kind of looks into his impending doom of a future, or I guess there's a better way to phrase that, but his, I guess it kind of
He
foreshadows what he expects his future to be like, or what he's scared of his future to be.
It's interesting because just as a watcher, I kind of take it not so much as I kind of took it as like he sees a fallen soldier, but is still inspired. That's what I saw.
Interesting. Okay.
I felt like he felt inspired by an image.
Yeah.
At least that's how, you know.
Yeah.
We'll review. We'll watch
Yeah,
it. You have to watch the whole film in order to kind of get that vibe. But I think that's when we looks over at it. I don't think that I felt like he didn't sense fear. I felt like he sensed inspiration, and how can I be a hero?
Interesting. I haven't heard that one, but
yeah. Anyways, that's what I felt. But and then the second clip.
I'm gonna have to see.
And then the second clip.
And the second clip is again Mateo and Rosie, and Rosie's his like best friend. They're very close, and they're getting ready for Dia de los Muertos party. And she wants to paint his face basically the way that he painted her face, to look like in the theme of like a calavera, in the theme of Dia de los Muertos. So yeah,
let's watch him. Cool. Alejandro.
Pin a calavera on my face. Good for you. Astronauts don't live on the moon. They land on the moon and find objects that they bring back to study.
What if they don't come?
What do you mean?
Sometimes they don't. They go left. You said one. Does that mean really two?
They have to do that.
Eventually. Nice. So cinematic.
I don't know.
How hard was that shot to get?
I don't want to talk about.
How about the setting? How about this is in Salinas. This is a house in Salinas, huh?
Yeah.
I know they don't see much in there, but when you see the film, you see more.
Yeah.
And tell us about just quickly.
Yeah.
15 seconds.
That house belongs to a family friend of ours, Edelvina Sanchez, and so she was really awesome to allow us to let her film that. We also filmed in the backyard for the party, and another room. we filmed in
living
there.
room kind of
Yes,
kitchen.
living room.
Yeah.
Living room. Yeah.
She kind of has a kind of a vintage play in
Yeah,
her house.
she
It
does.
Kind of,
I think it was built in like the 20s. It's one of the older homes in South Salinas, if you know
Nice.
what those look like.
so another shot here. This just kind of setting this one up. This is the bakery shot.
This one's a bakery shot that we
and
gave a lot of introduction to.
she shut this place down for a day.
Wow.
No, it was like a few hours.
She shut it down for a day. Poor man couldn't make no money on his bread.
Couldn't make his bread.
Yeah, I know. Literally.
Here we go. Let's cue that next one.
Here we go. We're gonna cue it up.
Channel 9.
9. Enter.
Pick what you want, Rosie.
Nice.
Nice.
Short little one there.
Classic.
You know what? You know what I love about these two shots here. Again, since as you explained, you used how big was your crew? Let's start there.
I think we had like
Besides the actors,
13 people.
a 13 people person crew.
Yeah,
That's
honestly.
a good size.
It was small. We had
no, I know, but that's
Yeah.
still good size.
yeah.
Because where I'm going with this is these were two really beautiful shots. You know, obviously, again, you filmed on a film camera, on a cinema camera. But I think that when we here locally are pre-planning a television production and or a commercial shoot, I think there's a lot of expectation that that's what shots are going to look like.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
but then they know they're only hiring you and or one other person,
Yeah.
and you don't get that same kind of result.
For
Right?
sure. For sure.
Tell us a little bit about your 13-person crew and you know, managing a crew that size and getting a job done like this within a couple of hours.
Yeah. Well, I can go on and on about the
Yeah,
crew.
right.
They're amazing, but I'll keep it short.
Yeah.
So the producer was my friend Andrew Bear, who I've worked with we worked on another film that was a 30-minute long short film. At the time, we didn't know that was like too long to be short, you know. But he's amazing and a good friend of mine. And our director of photography was my other good friend Connor Griffin, who is just absolutely talented, and he works in Newport Beach right now, and he's doing like this, you know. He's like always making commercials and stuff like that are this quality. And then production designer, we had my friend Ashley Popacek. All these people were my friends, I should say. I should preface. Ashley Popacek, Ash, she's absolutely amazing, super duper talented. She, the whole, like, I think the look visually, you know, obviously as a director, you carry the vision and you say, I want this and this and that. And that's your contribution besides, like, you know, you're leading your team. But really, like, it without, like, those three, it would not look the same, or it wouldn't be the same. They're just a super star team. We had a few other friends come, Jelly Valeza, Annabelle White. We had lots. I had lots of friends come, but we were just like a little ragtag team. Who am I forgetting? Someone? I feel like I'm forgetting someone. I hope not.
We'll put them in the credits. Crawl.
Yeah, just put it underneath.
Name crawl here.
Oh no. I love you guys. But just like absolutely incredible team, and they were. It was really kind of so stressful to make this because we were operating on like little. I mean, we had a lot of resources, but not a lot of. It's not your usual like get your permits and you find your actors through, you know, I guess in like the big leagues it's like agencies and that kind of thing. We literally like drove down one of the weekends. I think it was the first weekend, and at 9:00 I was on Facebook reaching out to random people who were part of like theater groups in Salinas and just being like, hey, you look like you're an actor. You know, we need this part. We're doing auditions for this thing. And at 9 o'clock, I talked to 9 p.m. and we had to shoot at 6 a.m. I was talking to our actor who played the dad, who was super awesome and was like really willing to just jump in. And it was a miracle, honestly, because we were like, we don't have a dad and we're shooting tomorrow in the morning.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, his name's Jose Miguel, and he actually owns American Burger in Monterey.
Awesome.
Super duper cool guy. But yeah, so he jumped in like at 6 a.m, and he actually had to work at his place, and he was like, well, you know, I might have to get someone to cover, and I was like, I'm so sorry, and he was like, no, like I'm so down, like if this is right, then I'll do it, like it's great.
It's cool.
So we just had a lot of those like we had to jump in and kind of just pick up however we could. And yeah, so for a shot for like the bakery, we were there for like 5 hours, I want to say. And that the owner actually was the guy who was
serving.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he was actually he was super cool, and he like gave us a tour of like the whole like back part, and gave us like fresh bread, and I was like, this is
Nice.
amazing. So that was really cool. But we were very quick, and we didn't have a lot of time to like really tear down the when you're lucky enough to get a clean set, and your production designer can like go in and do everything, it's great because you have a controlled set. But it was very much like, we just got to use the space that we're allowed to use. And so that was one time where Ash rearranged things and put up just made it look cleaner and more polished and kind of according to the era. She bought that giant like cash register.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
wondering. I was like,
Yeah,
"Whoa,
but-
is he operating with that kind of?"
No,
Yeah.
she bought that, and yeah, so
It's awesome. It's
yeah.
awesome. And one of the things that I caught on the movie as well was the scenes out in the fields and whatnot. I'm
Yeah.
over here stumbling a lot. I'm mumbling. See, I gotta get used to being behind the mic again. Cue the clip of
Yeah.
cue that clip here.
Just turn my mic down. Silence
Turn me
please.
off. Turn me off. You gotta relearn how to speak, how to spoke. No, you had a lot of beautiful shots out in the field, you know, and I remember some of our conversations where I was like, nope, you will not be able to put your feet in
Yeah.
the fields and whatnot. And
Yeah.
and I know we didn't get a peek of those shots, but share about just going around Salinas real quickly and yeah.
So we did shoot in the fields, and we called the day that we shot everything on the field. The day that we shot everything on the fields we called it the Impossible Day. We woke up at like 4 a.m,
Oh wow.
and we had 4 scenes to shoot, and so that was like a quarter of the film really. And we could not come back because once the lettuce was out, it was out for the next year, you know, or however long.
Yeah.
I don't know how long, but
It was happening right at the end of the season when you shot. Yeah.
it was like they were just about to.
It was the last harvest.
Yeah.
Wow. You had one shot to do this.
One shot. We had one day to do like 4 scenes, and we were just like crying the whole time, just absolutely just like just adrenaline, pure adrenaline. We searched, like we asked everybody, or we kind of looked around, and we started because we thought we were gonna film in LA or like down south. We thought we were gonna film all of it down south, and then slowly we started finding locations in Salinas, and then one weekend of Salinas shooting became 2 weekends, and then it became 3 weekends. We ended up shooting 2 weekends here, but one weekend we came and we're like, we don't have any actors, we can't really shoot, so we ended up like finding actors. So we spent like that entire weekend just going around Salinas, but we were also going around looking for a field, and nobody would let us. They were like,
Yeah.
you know, maybe not, because there's a lot of like health restrictions, and you figure like if this is part of like, if this whole section out of this whole field is, you know, gonna cost thousands of dollars, or that's thousands of dollars worth in produce. If we're stepping on that part, we've already cost them thousands of dollars. So, and that was a conversation that we had where I was like, we need a field, like we're shooting like in, a month or whatever. And you were like, I don't know, like I can do what I can, but it doesn't sound, possible. Which is why it was the impossible day, the day that we shot there. But so you were just like, I don't know, but I have this buddy who might be able to help you. And Amaral Farms was really generous, and they allowed us to shoot there, and we didn't take up much space, and they were already like, I don't know, they were just so kind, like they were very generous. There was really no like benefit to them doing it. It was just like it was very generous. So we got to shoot there. Yeah, we spent the entire day there. We're only planning to do 3 scenes. It came down to the wire where we were like, we might have to come back, but if we come back, there's no guarantee of us like being able to shoot and it looking the same. So we just pushed, and our little crew, tired and we had to drive back that night as well, like to LA. So we were like, man, it was a lot of like, we shouldn't have been able to do that, but we did it. Yeah.
Did that.
Blood, sweat, and tears. And yeah.
We could probably sit here for hours talking about your film, but I want to get a couple of more things out of you as we're winding down the clock here. Yeah. What would you share with some young filmmakers who are inspired by someone like you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, because you inspire me, to make great things, and and on top of it all, you've been amazing to our team. An amazing addition to our team. I think many of our peoples watching this that don't know or that do know. Cynthia's here plugging away, part of the Mag One Media team right now, and so we're definitely lucky to have you. But what would you share with some young, inspiring filmmakers?
So I definitely have had like, I wouldn't say I'm super like involved in the industry yet, but that's where I'm going. That's where I'm headed to. That's where like my goals eventually are. I want to like. I want to make like good films. I want to make films that people are like inspired to watch, and that's kind of where I'm going, and wherever that journey takes me, like I'm just gonna follow it. And I think I didn't realize. I think production design has been. I like to write and direct, and that's eventually like what I want to do. But production design has been just an avenue that has opened up like this creative like. I don't know, world in my head where I'm like, I can do this. Like, it just feels like someone turned on a switch, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like, even directing stuff or looking at it through a director's point of view, I'm like, oh, like, let's do this. So I think it's just like one of those things where it's like you're rounding out your skills. And I wish I would have jumped into it sooner. So really just like explore everything. Like if I was talking to someone who's just going into film school and they're bright-eyed and like ready for adventure, it's like, don't just settle on writing and directing. Don't just do things that you think are going to help you be a better writer director. Do everything. Like everything. Like I came in knowing how to edit, and then I like even now I'm editing and I know like the basics of that. I'm not an expert, but I know enough to communicate to my team. And even with production design, when I'm the like production designer, I have to communicate with my art director, and I have to communicate with my whole team, who's costume, makeup, whatever. I have to know how to manage that, and I know and I need to know what they know. Like I need to know the basics of their job so that I can say, do this, do that, and you kind of you're more experienced for it, and also you never really know like what a job is going to call you to do.
For me, what's most inspiring about that is like you have a vision, right? And like for your film, you're it's like your culture that you're talking about, where you're from. There's a lot of like a lot of your scenes were like very like there's a lot of cultural like parts to it. Whereas like the
Yeah.
bread shop, you have like the face painting, and you have the lettuce fields, and that's part of your experience as a person and your vision.
Mhm.
And if you didn't know all these things beforehand, you wouldn't have been able to create this vision, right?
Yeah.
So there's,
Yeah.
I think that's inspiring for me, because there are people who have vision. There's people who like, like I want to do this, but like don't necessarily like know what it is to do. So like you said,
Right.
just do everything. So that way, when you do have that vision, when you do have that passion, there's a way for you to like let it out and not just rely on
Yeah.
like other people. It's like you kind of have that, you
Yeah.
have the confidence to do that later on.
Right. I think there's a balance as well, because you have to be able to depend. You're only as good as your team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you should be the like something that I work with a team of like a bunch of my friends, but they're starting a company. 2 of them are starting a company, and so I've just been like helping them as much as I can. And something that we learned as a team was that like you want to feel like this sounds weird, but like you want to feel like the worst out of your team, or the least experience, or like the one that needs more growing. Let's say I'm specifically like I don't know, an editor or something, and the person next to me is, I don't know, that's a bad example. Yeah, like a sound person. Like, we're not going to have the same skill set, but we still need to learn from each other and like feed into our like blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to like be the least skilled at something, and then put yourself in a team where there's a lot of like, there's just so much information and so much like to learn from them. So you're not like, I'm the best, because you're not going to learn anything. And I think it's important to like listen, and to those experiences that I had that I put into my film are good, but I listened to stories, and I did my best to like be like, it's okay, like everyone else, like it's a team. I'm learning from them, they're learning from me. That's
like what they say. You don't want, if you're around, or if you're in a room and if you're the smartest person in the room, or like something like that, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong, or you're hanging out with the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like you want to be around people who are gonna teach you something.
Yeah.
And uplift you.
Yeah.
Not just like,
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
When should we expect your film to come?
So right now it's in the festival circuit, or we're starting with like the festival circuit. And so we made it 2 years ago. It's taken a while to kind of get to where it's at now. It was recently entered into the Guerrilla Film Festival, the Guerrilla Student Film Festival, which is a film festival by Biola students and alum. So we got some awards for that, which is really exciting. And then we're just got accepted to Newport Beach Film Festival. So that's kind of going out there. So we're going to do the festival route, just kind of get it out to as many people as possible. Unfortunately, with COVID, we had to like kind of pause with like getting it to festivals, a lot of festivals, because we want to be there in person, and that's really important. So we're doing that. We're hopefully with COVID, it kind of slows down so we can do that safely. And then once that's up, I'm definitely gonna bring it to the area and kind of celebrate with Salinas people. And yeah.
I it sounds like Cynthia only works on these films and short films, and she's trying to get into the cinema world, but she's also, I know she can't share everything about it, but she's had her hands in some pretty cool commercial projects and some other projects, huh?
Yeah.
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 It's been pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah.
She we're not name dropping or anything, but I woke up one morning, she shared a link with me, and it's a pretty famous YouTuber, and all of a sudden, I mean, literally it was only posted for maybe less than an hour's time, and I mean, the video had like 60,000 views or something by the time I'd seen it at like 9 or something in the morning, and probably had been posted for an hour. I was like, wow, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Cynthia's face is right. I was watching the video, and I was like, hey,
Yeah, I'm at the
Cynthia's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Set design. I'm in the design.
Yeah. So Zach King was doing like a collaboration with Google Maps, And those friends that I was mentioning, Andrew and their names are Andrew and Jace, and but they, through their company, they got hired to produce it.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like the third party, and because I've been like so involved with their team, I was able to work on that, and so that was really neat. It was a very quick project. I got to go to a prop house and rent out a night suit, which I put on my friend, who's this like 6 foot, like he's bigger guy, and he hated it.
Nice.
It was torture for him, but he was really sweet about it.
That's awesome. Well, Cynthia, this is the end. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah.
we can sit here and talk for hours, but some things are better left hanging, right?
Well, you guys don't want to talk about me for
Yeah.
hours and hours.
Where can people find more of your work, Cynthia?
My website, which is cynthiaegarcia.com. And then my Instagram is just cynthia.e.g.
Oh, now you get the follower.
At that little at. Follow me.
Follow me here.
Honestly, like I work with the marketing company, and then I need to market myself a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right, everyone. Well, there you have it. Cynthia, well, thanks again. Thanks for being on the show. We're really excited to see everything that you do. We're excited for your future, and more than anything, we're super excited to have you here. We're super lucky to have you here, and to keep this operation afloat. Right?
Yeah.
Till next time, everyone.
Peace.
Peace.